Something that I didn't know about this is that I would start watching and then I wouldn't be able to stop. No one warned me about that with Critical Role, yet here we are. Welcome back, everyone. We're here to talk about Critical Role Campaign 2, Sessions 2, 3, and 4. And I really kept wanting to keep going, but I'm trying to do this. This is my goal. I'm trying to do this where every time we end an arc where there's going to be a level up, that is how I want to structure these. So we're here to talk about, after session 1, where we go and my thoughts on the continuing journey. Before we get into this, I want to know, what is your favorite element of Dungeons and Dragons? Are you someone that loves the game for story? Do you love combat? Do you love creating characters? Let me know what your favorite element of gameplay is down in the comments. In true D&D form, there's a lot of, well, maybe we should do this, and then exploring a whole thing that leads nowhere. And I love how the whole time they're doing this investigation on what happened at the circus, they basically end up avoiding the circus because they don't want to go back there because they think it'll look suspicious. And in the end, they find out, you got to go back to the circus because that's where all the evidence is. So I love that there's a whole investigation period where they went into the town and they tried to question everyone about the man that was the victim in the attack, and it just leads nowhere. I also have to say, my favorite relationship so far at this point in my journey is Nott and Caleb. I love them so much. I just love how much they work on protecting each other and they stick together no matter what, and how both of them have also kind of warmed up to the group at large. And Yasha came back. I'm glad I went. I was going to do this video for session 2 and 3, and I'm glad I went one more because then I got to see Ashley coming back as Yasha, and that was amazing. It was so nice, even though I think she's going to be gone again for a bit. But what can I say? She's a busy lady. She's in demand, Ashley Johnson. I have never laughed so hard, maybe in all my life. Some of these sessions are so funny. The banter that we have. I think Jester, obviously with Laura Bailey, but also Nott with Sam, are probably a couple of the funniest characters in it. But everyone together is honestly just really funny. And I love watching people try to do things that are these whole plans, try to go beyond what their level is. Although, to be fair, with the levels that they're at, they have accomplished some pretty impressive things. The fact that they were even able to take on this Devil Toad, I thought was really impressive. And there's also just some situations where things don't go as planned, as you would expect, where, for example, when Bo is arrested, I loved that whole part because it's just Bo struggling. I have to say, in comparison to the Mighty Nein, the show, I thought that the show more closely mirrored the campaign. And when I was reviewing it, a lot of you told me in the comments, actually, kind of none of this happens in the campaign. So get ready for none of this to be where we're headed, kind of. And yeah, I see that now. I see that. We definitely go down some different paths. I think that the animated series is kind of a more tighter version of the campaign, whereas the campaign, though, has all of these fun little character moments that we don't necessarily get in the animated series. For example, one of the things that I was hoping was going to come up in the show that I'm like, this never came up, and that's kind of sad, is Trevor's falchion, Ford's falchion, I guess I should say, that Trevor keeps talking about. And everyone, every time he mentions the falchion, they're like, falchion, falchion. Everyone loved saying falchion so much at this table. And because of the falchion, I actually looked up a little bit of lore in advance on the Sword of Fathoms, which is the item that Ford has, and how it kind of levels up as time goes on, which I think is really, really cool. So I can't wait to see more of that. I think just seeing the way that everyone is kind of coming into their characters now and figuring out how they work. The fact that Jester also loves to remind everyone that she's the cleric. I'm the cleric. I am the cleric now. That's a thing that I absolutely adore. And there's so many fun little moments like that. Or when they're talking about stuff, kind of planning things out, not necessarily in character, but they just keep their accents. Like, Caleb is always Caleb. There is no moment when we leave being Caleb at the table. Liam is like in full Caleb mode for the whole sessions. And whenever he does, on the off chance, it happens maybe, I think maybe twice I've heard it happen that Liam has gone back to just being Liam for a second. It's so jarring for me because I'm so used to him being fully Caleb in this. I will say, I can already kind of see a little bit what people are talking about though, how Caleb has these monologues that go on and on and on. And I can already foresee that I think Caleb's going to be one of the characters that I both love, but also sometimes loathe, just because he loves to gab. He's a gabber, and I love that for him. Honestly, I think there is a lot to love about the character, and I love the way that Liam plays him. But there are moments when even I, listening, I'm like, okay, Liam, let's move on. Let's move on. I love that in this version of the story, something that is different from the animated series, we didn't end up sacrificing Toya. I thought that was nice, and I thought it was really tragic. I was like, I can't believe they would go that dark. But that's not what ends up happening here. Toya does survive, and I feel like maybe in the show they made some changes, like with Gustav also not surviving, Toya not surviving, because I've heard that later in the campaign, we do come back to these characters who we kind of had our farewell to, but there's nothing really meaningful that happens with them. And I don't know if Toya ever will return. I like that we are leaving options open though for that. And Bo getting indoctrinated into the secret society at this point in the story was also really cool. I also loved Caleb and Not going to the bath together. I thought that was super cute. And the gnome has to be my favorite RPG NPC character that Matt has done. The gnome who owns the shop that Caleb and Not have gone back to a few times now. Matt does a really good job of letting people kind of go off during this journey and do their own little questing and then all come back together. He does a good job of taking us through what each person wants to do so that it never feels like a chore when we split the party. And I also love that he is willing to reward creative behavior at the table. So when someone has a plan to do something, if it's creative, he'll let them have an advantage or, you know, give them some way that they can maybe make it happen if it really sounds creative. But there are so many things that you can tell that this group wants to do that they're thinking like, this is really important. And Matt's trying to be like, I mean, you can if you want, like, you don't really need to, but like, it's your game, so I'm going to let you guys go wherever you want. It's really that everyone is just having so much fun together. And as I said in my previous review for the first session, that is something that I just keep coming back to, that I keep having fun with whenever I'm watching it. I love hearing the way the people interact. I love the fact that they're not afraid to try things and they don't really hold off as much. They just go for it as a group. And even when the story is making these characters question whether or not they would stay together, the players are having so much fun that it kind of bleeds into the character's personality. And so when they do get to the end of this first quest and they defeat the Devil Toad and they've cleared their names, they're deciding if they want to continue together. And they go and get this amazing map and that Matt had made, which by the way is stunning. Can we just talk about for a second the production value of Critical Role? Because it is amazing. This is like a dream to me. If I were to do my RPG show with my friends and we were able to be in the same location every time, I would love to have something like this where we have all of these physical elements to what we're playing. And, you know, we're all sitting there together on a set that's all well lit with cameras on everyone. It's chef's kiss. It's just great. And I'm so glad that through Geek and Sundry, they were able to find this group together. They were able to get this group of friends together that could play and actually have some production value behind it and create this amazing group that has now become a whole company. Like, when I think of what Critical Role has accomplished, it's honestly so inspiring to me as a streamer and as an avid lover of RPGs and someone that, you know, envisions doing RPG work as a professional as well. And I mean, I did an RPG campaign with Renegade. I did their G.I. Joe game and I was cast in that. And I have been cast in a few things along the way and gone to conventions to do RPG shows live. And I have a lot of fun doing that. And I would love to do more of that because it's just so great. And I love seeing the joy that it brings to the players and that they're able to give back to the audience. Something that I also love to watch, and I do watch it in passing, is all of the fan art. I just think the fan art is so delightful. I do have a few folks who sometimes make fan art when we do Lies You'll Enjoy, and it has been so lovely whenever anyone has made any fan art from any RPG that I've been a part of. I get so honored by it, and I can't imagine the amount of fan art that they get, knowing that you are impacting people's lives in that way and giving them this joy and helping them through hard times. That's really what art is here to do, right? Like, it's here to help people through the tough times. And it really is, I think, one of the most valuable things that humans can create, that humans can do. Entertainment, art, to create a connection between people at a time when there is so much going on in the world that feels so dark. It's been a beautiful escape for me, Critical Role, lately. And I mean, I try to keep everything nice and light and breezy here. I don't like to get into politics or the news because it really bums me out most days. But I just want to say thank you to Critical Role. I know I'm very late getting to this campaign, but thank you for being a light in those tough times for me as well. And I just started watching, you know? So overall, I thought this was a great start to our journey. I like this as a first story. I love the idea of our group of heroes deciding to stick together for now, see how it goes, do a trial run. But I think we are really building some beautiful bonds between all of these characters, and I can't wait to see how they grow and how they evolve and how they level up and what they choose and how they build the characters and how they expand their abilities in fights and their abilities in other problem-solving areas that are not always so physical. Although, I will be real, I do sometimes surprise myself at how much I enjoy the combat in this. I'm not usually a big combat player when it comes to RPGs, so for me, I really like things that are more story-focused, but a lot of the combat in this is also played so in character that it's really rewarding to watch. And I know you guys have had a lot of suggestions as to how I should watch this and what I should do, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been doing. But before I do that, I want to talk about some of your amazing comments. Speaking of amazing communities, I have an amazing community here on YouTube, and I want to take some time to celebrate you guys because as much as Critical Role keeps me going, my amazing community on YouTube here also keeps me going. So let's talk about some of the suggestions and some of the comments that you guys had on my last video. Emily Nilsson writes, watch, but you don't have to have your eyes glued to the screen all the time. Myself, I've enjoyed every scrap of CR's content on my iPad by putting it next to me at breakfast while cooking or getting ready for the day and so on. Thus, I have easy access to the visuals, but also have time for everything else my life calls for. Sometimes I'm glued to the screen, sometimes I'm not. Have fun with C2, heart. Thank you, Emily. This is such a lovely comment. Thank you so much. And I hope I'm saying that right. It's Emily with an E, E-M-E-L-Y. But I'm going to say it Emily. So hopefully that's cool with you. This is exactly how I watch it, actually. I have my iPad right here. So I have my iPad. Oh, I don't know if we can show this Babstar sticker on the front. It's kind of spicy. This is my iPad. And I do watch a lot of things. Just literally, I mean, right now I'm reading some comics, but I do just watch it just straight up on my iPad. And that is my go-to as well. I usually watch Critical Role when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm getting ready to go to bed, when I'm winding down, throughout the day while I'm doing other things. and I just have my iPad near me. And if I'm away, if I need to like step away from my iPad, I'll put earbuds in so I can at least keep listening. And then if there's something that I think sounded cool to watch visually, I will sometimes go back. So yeah, that has been my approach, and I have not sped it up. I've just been watching all of it. JDSO or says, you will not be disappointed if all you do is watch for Sam's stuff and how Jester uses the sending spell 100%. Oh my goodness. I love that Jester actually also, that Laura's always thinking of her blessing of the trickster, and every time she's trying to remember. I will say, I think Laura does a really good job of playing her characters and really thinking through her sheet and everything she's supposed to be doing. Like, everyone will forget things from time to time. And that is one of the things that I think is so daunting for players playing D&D for the first time. And even me, an experienced player playing for years, whenever I get back into a campaign and I'm playing with friends, I'm always like, man, I hope I remember how to play. I'm always worried that I'm going to mess it up. But we're all humans, and sometimes we forget things, and that is normal. And don't worry, your party will be there to remind you. Your DM will be there to remind you. Everybody's got each other's back. That's what it means to be part of an adventuring party. Paul Guy says, while there were a bunch of interviews where the players talked about their session zeros, among so much else, but then someone close to the cast had to be an absolute monster to one of the cast. Oh no. So CR took every video he was in off the channel. But basically, they each did character creation with Matt. Then he ran their level 1 sessions in the small groups to establish some initial relationships and to explore the characters a bit. Wow, that's a really cool process. And I'm so sad that, you know, they had to kind of remove everything because of someone being terrible. That sucks. But that does make sense how they are running it, that they did some work off camera before and some prep before they sat down, because they just have such a good handle, I think, on who the characters are at start. Eero Salonen says, podcast version is good, but cast reactions and shenanigans enhances some of the epic moments quite a lot. I am interested to see more reactions and breakdowns for campaign 2. Oh, well, thank you, Eero. I am happy to be here talking about my reaction to it, my feelings on it as I go through. And yeah, if you want some more breakdowns on this, let me know. I can make some notes as I'm going through, kind of talk about some of the story beats. I try not to worry too much about that because I am a meticulous note taker, and I am like this when I play D&D too. I take a lot of notes. And so when I do breakdown videos, I tend to get swept up in the details, and my editor will be like, girl, you talked about this one interaction that was just a conversation about a shoe for 10 minutes. What are you doing? So I'm trying to not go overboard with it. But if you guys want more of that, please do let me know in the comments below. And I think that's all I have for this one. Thank you so much for all your comments. They're all so wonderful. I really need to spend some time going through and responding to everyone because, wow, there's a lot of love from the community. And I am just so happy to be here with you and to be watching and to be discussing. It has been a true delight for me. So thank you. I will be going and checking out the next arc, and then I will be back next time we level up. I'll see you then, and until next time, friends, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you missed my last reaction to the beginning of Campaign 2, you can check that out over here.